Hi, good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. We are live today on Ubuntu channel, bringing to you Ubuntu Sports. We sincerely apologize for starting the program late. This is to technical challenge beyond our control, but we are here nevertheless, and we'll be talking about what is happening in terms of Zambian football and also continental football. MUZA and Power Dynamos will be playing this weekend, and we want them to reach the group stage so that we can get back the four slots. But to help me discuss all those matters, I'm joined by Lawrence. Lawrence, good evening. Welcome to Winter Sports.
Good evening, Reuben, and thank you so much for having me on the program.
Club football is back after the international week. Let's start with a 1-1 draw. Zambia versus Comoros away in Comoros. How did you rate that performance by Zambia?
That was one of the most lackluster performances you can ever come across. I think ever since we saw Avram Grant taking over the realms of the Chipolopolo side. Now, Ruben, in the first half, especially, if I insist on if Comoros had a striker who was lethal or something like that, or even close to it, I think we would have had a very big mountain to climb. It's interesting to say that actually Zambia did not have a shot on target the whole lot of the first half. Ruben,
Mm,
shows you how lackluster a performance it was.
uh, great. Others were saying maybe it's because of the pitch. Lawrence, could that have affected the Zambian game?
I think we even have worse pitches in Zambia than that. The pitch may look terrible on screen because probably maybe the grass is dry or something like that, but I don't think it was as bad as it looked in the first place. Secondly, I think I saw quite a number uh, of uh, of players that needed to be substituted even at halftime. One of them being, I don't know, a lot of people might disagree with me, but Lameck Banda. Uh, on the left side, he completely failed to beat his marker over and over in the first half. Whenever you saw them one on one, you'd know that actually the Comoros defender will come out on top. You can't really blame all that on the pitch, Ruben. You can't.
So, why do you think everything went wrong, Lawrence? Because it's a team that has been playing so well. Maybe it's because the game was a dead rubber, nothing to play for. This is a
It
team that
was
you were expecting that to participate in January for the AFCON. They'll be in every cost.
Ruben, it was not a dead rubber to me. It was a game that we needed to either draw or win, so that we can secure the top spot. Very important, actually. It's important you come out top of the group, or whatever happens. And for me, that was very important and very vital. But yes, we managed to get a draw. And I think after the Patson Daka goal, there was a little bit of change in momentum. And I saw the Zambian side trying to press more and probably looking for a winner. But I started asking myself, where has this team been from first half? Where have they been? So it's a case of, I think, probably the fact that majority of the players, I think only Stofila Sunzu probably in that team has been to the Africa Cup of Nations before. And the rest of them, just mere qualification, I think was a very big achievement. And I think it was that kind of a situation where people are taking that for granted to say we've already qualified. Why should we stress ourselves? Maybe that is what it was. But I think to me, we should have played to win or draw that game. In fact, we should have played to win because remember, all these things are, or even that game was coming to count when it comes to the next Coca-Cola FIFA rankings. We should have those, I think, coming out before the next international friendly. I mean, the next international break. So uh, we should we should value all those things. Where are we ranked? Because it also helps in pulling teams for friendlies and all that when it's time to prepare for the FIFA, for the Africa Cup of Nations next year. Also, for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, which will be starting later this year.
All right. But that equalizer by Patson Daka, beautiful goal. How do you rate that goal? Looking at Patson Daka, he's not playing with when he goes back to England with Leicester City. He's usually on the bench. He's not started any game this season. Actually, he's not appeared for Leicester City this season. But he continued scoring for the Chipolopolo. 5 goals in these qualifiers.
Yeah, one of the informed strikers when it comes to African football. I think there is just a handful of players who are on 6 goals who actually topped the whole goal scoring chart for these Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. But nevertheless, Patson Daka was not far from it. 5 goals in the games played is a good return. Also, if you take a good look at the goal that is scored, Reuben, the ball was actually somewhat behind him, but it takes someone with class to actually manage to control that and put it on target. What he did, amazing, brilliant. I'm always happy for Patson Daka when he does great because obviously, for me, he's someone that we've seen grow over the years and all that, and to see one to see him perform at the highest levels is actually brilliant. But Reuben, Leicester City, it's not like he's not good enough, but he is a player who is just probably not quite fitting well with the coach's kind of tactics, and that is where he's being disadvantaged. That story actually qualifies itself when you look at the asking price that Leicester are putting on him for possible suitors to Patson Daka. Shows you that they know that there is class in him, there is talent in him, and they are not underpinning
that. Do you think that goal is enough to maybe make the coach have some headaches and say, let me try this guy?
Well, the coach already has headaches on what to do with him, truth be told. But nevertheless, it does not. I'm not trying to say that the coach will be twisted to play him because Patson Daka scored. I think somewhat a lot of coaches in Europe, I don't know for this reason or the other, they don't so much rate African football. So you can score in Africa, and they look at it's one of those things, and it ends there. But I think it's very difficult to actually score in Africa. All the African greats who have done well in Europe, actually, when you look at their returns back home, you tend to wonder how are they managing out there and struggling here. It's not easy to score in Africa, Reuben.
All right. Let's come to our local league now. It's back tomorrow. The league enters week 4 after the international break. Like all other leagues in the world, they're back. As we're speaking right now, actually, Bayern is playing and they're leading. Hurricane has scored Lawrence. Interesting stuff. It seems to have settled so quickly in Bayern. But when you bring it home, Lawrence, one of the big teams, the Kitwe Giant, I know now they're based. This is on the based in Lusaka in Ghana. Played 3 games, lost all the 3, Lawrence, and we've got a new coach now. Ian Bakala has been appointed. Do you think they'll change the fortunes of this season?
Well, sometimes appointing a new coach brings to the squad some new morale, some new confidence, and all that happens. And actually, something that has been proven over and over and over. Every time there's a change in coaches, I don't know why players tend to wake up and start fighting for their places. But the fortunes of Nkana actually have dwindled. I can't really fault the coach so much, but I think also they had the question about summer transfer window, Reuben. Players have also, I don't know, they seem to have downed tools for one reason or the other. I don't know what exactly is wrong with Nkana, but I only hope and pray that Ian Bakala manages to turn the fortunes around. But Reuben, there is no guarantee in this. there is no guarantee. It's just one of the dices that the management has thrown in, and it may work out, it may not work out. It may actually even make things worse. You never know, Reuben.
Yeah, you never know. This weekend they're off, but the next game when they come back, Lawrence, it's a midweek encounter against MUZA, because MUZA on Sunday they'll be playing against a team from uh, Gabon. But now on Wednesday, Lawrence, it will be in Ghana hosting MUZA. How do you see this pan out with the recent changes? Do you think they would have adapted by then to the new coaches' tactics and all that? You know how dangerous MUZA is.
Well, I think for to speak in Nkana's favor, last year probably MUZA did not really have it all when it comes to playing Nkana. It was a kind of arrangement where both teams beat the other by a goal to nil at home. Well, that shows you, Ruben, that sometimes even when Nkana was not doing fine last season, they can cause upsets here and there. And they did manage to contain MUZA at home last year. And probably it's possible they can even this year. Remember, I think sometimes it works against a team when they are playing continental football on Sunday and they have to play on Wednesday again. There is that kind of match fatigue and the like, and I'm sure the MUZA coach will have to play some to roll out some dices as well, and maybe shuffle the pack here and there to ensure that there are high energy levels in the team. And it may also work against MUZA somehow, because there is always that trusted starting 11 that you have. Well, I think they will try to prioritize the continental showpiece so that they can manage to at least make it to the group stages, because Reuben, there is money there. Compared to the league, there is more money there, and it all makes sense that they should push to go as far as possible in the continental competition. Now, that being said, Reuben, remember that in doing all that, you cannot completely play the same team, continental and league, especially when you only have 2 days in between. So depending on what the coach sees, he might make some changes, like I said earlier on. Now, I don't know if those changes are going to work for MUZA or against MUZA, and if those changes are going to work for Nkana or against Nkana. It's a question mark there. But Reuben, I think Nkana might pull out something there and maybe salvage a point from MUZA.
Great stuff. Let's just have a quick look at the fixtures that will be taking place tomorrow, Saturday. We've got 3 games that will be coming up, Lawrence. The first game is interesting because it involves the men and women in uniform. The other one is the army. The other one is the police. It's Green Buffaloes versus Nkwazi, and this will be a double header at Sunset Stadium before Zanaco host Mufulira Wanderers. But let's start with Green Buffaloes versus Nkwazi. We saw Nkwazi that was topping the group, topping the log table, getting a loss last week against, actually they're log leaders, but they got a first loss last week against Power DYNAMOS. Do you think this time around they might pick up the pieces and win and continue being at the top of the league?
Okay, Reuben, these are 2 teams that actually are very difficult to predict, because if you look at their history, they seem to manhandle each other every now and then. You never know who carries the day. I think we can go as far back as 2021, Reuben. We saw Green Buffaloes pick up. Green Buffaloes pick up a win away in the first meeting they had. And then Nkwazi also doing the same and exactly the same scoreline. The 2022 season, I think we saw them draw 3-0 at Green Buffaloes before Green Buffaloes carried the day at Nkwazi by 2-0. And this time around, Reuben, knowing that it's going to be actually a double head and therefore it's a neutral ground for both of them, I think we should brace ourselves for some goals. I think this is one of those games where we shall see quite some score lines, probably 2-2, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, somewhere there. But I think at the end of the day, it will be a stalemate.
All right, you see a stalemate in this game. Another team that was surprising during the Absa Cup last season was Trident, and this time around they're with Red Arrows at Nkoloma Stadium. Red Arrows, not an easy team to beat at Nkoloma Stadium. They might take advantage of this. The team that is being sponsored or supported by the Zambia Air Force, and they're against a team that's just new in the league. Lawrence, do you think Trident can bring up an upset here?
No. I'm answering straightforward no. I think they should be getting quite some baptism into the Super League for now. I think so far we can see that Trident has only picked up 1 point from the 3 games that they have played. Well, 1 point. I think it will still be 1 point at the end of tomorrow, and Red Arrows should really see an opportunity here to actually pick themselves up and increase their returns from 5 points to 8.
Right. When you look at the second game at Sunset Stadium, back at Sunset Stadium, Zanaco up in action against Avena Milambo, Awine Chungulo, Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, a team with a lot of history back in the Super League. And so far, so good. They're in the top 4. Surprisingly, Lawrence, they seem to be doing wonders. Will they continue tomorrow, maybe to pick up an upset against Sensational at their home at Sunset Stadium?
Identical teams, an encounter of identical twins actually, who both are 3rd and 4th. Zanaco is only 3rd on goal difference, but both of them have won 1 game and drawn the other 2. Both of them remain undefeated so far. Well, I think it might be a gamble, but I think Zanaco should pick up the 3 points tomorrow. If the West goes to the West for them, I think probably a draw.
A draw. Do you think this is now the season that Western Rangers needs to start putting Zanaco in the top 2, top 3? They've struggled for some recent for past 2-3 seasons. Zanaco has not been in the top 4. Do you think Western Rangers now this season might actually push the team and go and qualify for the continental place?
Well, I think Wadawada is one trusted a coach, very understands the league, the Zambian Super League very well. He has gone to South Africa and did himself some justice. He has actually managed the national team and did himself some justice. Cannot fault him so much. I think at this point in time, he should be settled actually at Zanaco, and he should be able to somehow pick up wins, especially with games like this. It's very important for him. Something that he actually has to take serious and look into. If he fails to pick up victories for games like these, I think it's going to be one of those seasons again we start predicting that Zanaco won't make it in the top 4.
All right. When we turn into Sunday, Lawrence, we see Mutondo Stars hosting Forest Rangers. Forest Rangers starting a new chapter now without Ian Bakala. They were used with Ian Bakala. They've won the Absa Cup, the Absa Cup champions. We saw them actually coming up strong during the Charity Shield, and they won it. And everyone thought Ian Bakala is going to stay for a long time at Forest Rangers, but now things have changed. New coach Lawrence. How do you see this game coming up?
Well, first and foremost, we can say Mutondo Stars uh, are, are probably one of those teams, one of those teams that seem to be settling into the Super League. Talking in terms of the new entrants, uh, and well, they have lost only one, joined the other one, and won the other. Joined the other one and won the other match. So you can say that they have tested all results as at now. They have lost, they have won, they have drawn. Now, what matters for them is how they pick themselves up from here. What next for them is the question, and I think it's important to say that Forest Rangers are one stubborn team already in the league, and Tondo Stars, if they are to pull something out of this, they must really work for it, and it's going to take quite a lot. Tactically, mentally, physically, they have to be disciplined and strong, and obviously, we are looking at Forest Rangers, who are currently sitting on fifth position, shows you that they are quite a force to reckon with currently, and hopefully they will continue that to that's on Sunday. They will continue with that. Having won one and drawn two, I think Forest Rangers should pick up their second victory of the season.
Great. Let's look at the game that will be taking place in Kawe. Kawe Warriors versus Napsa Stars. Napsa Stars struggling in relegation so far. They've only drawn one match. They've lost two. Pressure is mounting there for Peri Mutapa. And Kawe Warriors have played three games also. Won one, lost one, drawn one.
Yeah, and you can see the log standings for the team. There is quite some margin there. It's very disappointing for Napsa Stars to be where they are right now. Actually, looking at the fact that this is a team that was actually said to be the Man City of Zambian Super League when it comes to spending. Uh, One of the biggest spenders we've had in the recent past, and seeing them struggle like this, I think makes sad reading. But good news for them is it's still just the start of the season, and there is a very, 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 very long way to go. So it's now that they have to start picking themselves up and accounting for themselves. But Cowboy Warriors are actually stubborn when playing at home, and I expect them to be stubborn and probably to sting Napsa Stars. Looking at the previous performances, I think based on that, I think Cowboy Warriors might frustrate Napsa Stars.
Great. And there was a big upset last week. We saw Zesco United losing to Nkwazi by a goal to nil. This week they're at home against Konkola Blades. Both teams don't look stable so far. Chicken is now back at Zesco United, and this season he started it. And do you think Zesco is going to return to its former glory, where we know Zesco always plays Continental? So far, they've played three games, won one, lost one, drawn one, Lawrence.
Indeed. Good to see Chicken back. I must make mention, like, he's one of the local coaches that I love the most. That man, I think he's done the most for Zambian football. Deserves to be honored and recognized. George Chicken Wandamina, big up to him. But the fate of Zesco I think, will depend on more than just Chicken. We need to have a situation where everybody comes to the party and shows for it. Now, Reuben, remember, this is the Zesco United that had some that had is it Hossam Hassan as the technical director last season, and with time got appointed as the coach, and then it didn't work out, and all those experiments, I think, in the long run, they come to bite and sting the management of the team, because there is so much that is infused into the players that I think, is not utilized or used by the players in the end. So I expect Zesco to start pulling up their socks, because the defeat that they had last weekend, I'm sorry, the previous in the previous game, is something that should not be tolerated actually at a club as big as Zesco. That defeat actually should have raised some bells, and I think heads should roll. How that happened, that is what we expect. And moving forward, we expect George Chicken Wandamina to get his squad firing in all cylinders. Now remember, Reuben, sometimes football is very unfair to these managers. Even when you had opportunities in the game and the players fluffed their lines, they missed the chances and all that. When the team loses, everybody will come back and start asking the coach, how did that happen? So at the end of the day, sometimes it's important that everybody takes responsibility and everybody does their jobs. It makes everybody's work easier. That is where Zesco should be. Everybody should come in and should come to the party and do what they're supposed to do what is expected of them. It really will help everybody, and this club will tick once again.
Great. Let's turn our attention to the continental games. Both our representative at home this weekend, Lawrence. If we start with the CAF, it's scary, Lawrence, because I'm sure you've seen almost these 6 buses for SIMBA. They are in Zambia, and if you count some of the Tanzanians that are already here in Zambia, I think SIMBA might dominate the stadium if we're not careful. The SIMBA supporters might dominate the stadium, Lawrence. But I want us to drive this commitment by the SIMBA fans or the Tanzanian fans coming all the way from Tanzania to support their teams, their team here in Zambia. How huge or how committed is this, Lawrence? How can this be turned into a Zambian team? Imagine teams like MUZA. The last time I was there, they played at Heroes. The stadium wasn't even half full, Lawrence. But what we've seen from SIMBA, this is huge.
Reuben, first and foremost, let us look at things the way they are and the way they ought to be looked at. We should make mention that we have SIMBA, who are quite some giant in Africa. They are huge. They are one of the huge teams, and they are able to even help out their fans to travel in those lines. But here, bring it back here. Even for supporters of MUZA to move from Umsanza to come and support their team in Lusaka, Reuben, it's a very big challenge. First and foremost, look at the buses that SIMBA supporters have come in, and look at the bus that a team like MUZA uses for their players. It will tell you a very big difference, Reuben, in the organization of these teams, in the stature of these teams, in the financial mass of this team. It should tell you all the stories. But that does not mean that we should accept that fact that another country, another team from another country can come here in Zambia and dominate our stadiums while we fail to support our teams. I think that should be something that we should address as teams, as clubs. How do we do that? First and foremost, football is a results based. If one of these, let's say a Power Dynamos, as they play SIMBA tomorrow, they pull out a shocker and beat SIMBA, everybody who hears about this result will be motivated to come and watch them next time they come and play at home. It's motivation enough. But looking at the past results, Reuben, when it comes to Zambian team, at this stage, this is a stage where most of the teams actually get eliminated. How do you encourage supporters to come and watch the team participating in the continental showpiece? It's very difficult, Reuben. So at the end of the day, the onus is on the teams themselves. You are trying. Reuben, I think I should not even be struggling to find how to explain this. I'll say, look at MUZA in the league. At the start of last season, how many people are going to watch MUZA? Very few. By the time the season was ending, Reuben, everybody was looking for a MUZA shirt. Everybody was looking for MUZA regalia and things like that. This thing, football sells itself, and it does so when the results are good. End of story.
Great. If we don't win tomorrow, if we don't beat Simba tomorrow, imagine going to Tanzania with that atmosphere that is there in Tanzania. Power Dynamos just need to pick up the points. What do you think, Lawrence?
Well, yeah, they need to pick up the 3 points. They need to, home or away, do your best. At the end of the day, I think it's important to note that the situation that these teams are in right now is quite dire, Reuben. It's interesting actually. It's interesting that Power Dynamos has to play a Simba this early in the tournament. But again, to be the best, you must beat the best. That is what I believe in, and therefore, it doesn't matter whether Power Dynamos are given Ali, whether they're given Simba, whether they're given Sundowns or Asante Kotok. It doesn't matter. What is important is that whoever comes your way, find a way to beat them. If you don't do it at home, you have to go and find a way of doing it away from home. Anywhere it's possible.
All right. Let's come to tactical analysis of this game. We know Simba has got Zambians there. There's Moses Piri, who was former Zanaco. There's Cletus Chama, former Lusaka Dynamos player. These are familiar faces here in Zambia. Do you think these are the two guys that might exploit the Power Dynamos defense, because they know how Power Dynamos plays? They know the players and all that. Are these the players that Power Dynamos should look out for?
Well, I think if you say you look out for the players that are from Zambia representing the other team, and look out for them, and that's it, I think it's not going to help. You can look out for them, watch out for them, but what are you as Power Dynamos doing first and foremost? And when you look at the Simba squad, actually, the player that is said to be the most dangerous they have happens to be our very own Cletus Chama, who currently has 4 goals for the club. And interestingly, the player who is said to be the most dangerous when it comes to assists for Simba is actually Moses Piri, who already has 2 assists for the team. So the danger actually seems to be coming from our very own players. Yes. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there are other players who are also quite dangerous on the break for Simba. There is Jean Baleke, who also shares the spoils as the joint top scorer with Cletus Chama for the top goals. The Congolese actually, I'm told, is actually more lethal than even Cletus Chama, Chota Chama is. I've not seen him actually in action, I must make mention, but these are things that I've heard from people who say they have watched him and things like that. But so I mean that shows that Simba actually have got a very rich depth in squad. They are able to make changes here and there and still get required results possible. So all we have to do, as I'll speak as a Zambian and as if I am speaking on behalf of Power Dynamos here. All we have to do as Power Dynamos now is find a way of containing the Simba play, maximizing on the home ground advantage. This is home. they should know that we are home. We should maximize on that. This is, they don't know Hero Stadium like we do. So let's maximize on that. Let's utilize Hero Stadium and play for just that one break. Play for that one break. Get that one break. Utilize it. Maximize on it. Every little chance, mistake, punish them. For every slight mistake they make at the back, punish them as much as possible. That way, we are able to come out with something, and seemingly and hopefully we can go there and hold on to what we can manage to utilize to this weekend.
And for the advice for MUZA, who will be at Heroes on Sunday?
But for MUZA, I think it's the same. I think MUZA's task is much easier. I think, in fact, the team they are playing, I think it's possible they can beat them home and away. I think it's possible. So I think all I can say for MUZA is stay focused. This being your first time, you really have nothing much to lose, and but not to say that you should lose and then we will understand. I think just have to put in the best. MUZA are quite good tactically. I think one of the teams that I've learned to respect when it comes to tactics.
Thanks for that, Lawrence. We wish MUZA and Power Dynamos all the best as they play their continental games, with Power Dynamos tomorrow playing at Heroes at Levi Manawasa Stadium in Ndola. If you're on the Copper Belt, just go there. A ticket is just 10 kwacha, Lawrence. You'll find yourself in the stadium. And on Sunday, 15 hours, will be at Hero Stadium. MUZA will be in action, and just a 20 kwacha is enough for you to watch that game all round, and we'll come and give you the results, and we're going to discuss everything that will happen this weekend, next week on Friday, same time. But this is where we have to end today's episode of Ubuntu Sports. I was joined by Lawrence, and my name is Reuben. From all of us on Ubuntu Sports, we say goodbye and God bless you. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.